Hey everyone, today we are going to walk through the Email Automation Accelerator. This accelerator demonstrates how Watson is able to automate responses to emails that are related to business processes. And the two business processes that occur via email that we're showing today are going to be one, dealing with insurance, so adding people or removing people from policies, and the second is IT asset management, so that relates to corporate handling of IT assets and how they would go about returning those assets. And so here we're going to show how Watson is able to identify the intent behind the email using Watson Conversation and then extract out the key entities from that email using a custom trained model in Watson Knowledge Studio that is executed through natural language understanding. Once Watson extracts out those key entities, it will determine if the requisite information is there to execute that business process, and if not, Watson will then follow up with the customer to gather that information. And where that information is already there, Watson will respond saying that the business process has been executed. So this will make a lot more sense once we dive into it, so why don't we go ahead and get started. To begin the demonstration, go ahead and log in with the username and password provided in the demo instructions and click Sign In. Once you sign in, you will see that you're taken to this dashboard overview of the emails that you have in the system. Now, when you're giving this demonstration, you'll note that we do provide you with information about what these different numbers mean. I will explain them, but if you forget or you need to refresh, that is there for you. So just to orient you to what you're seeing, you have the overview section, that's your dashboard, that's what we're defaulting on. You also have this menu option, which is how you can toggle between the two scenarios that we've provided, insurance and IT asset management. And we also feature an about page, which will give you additional information about the accelerator. But staying with the insurance example first, some backgrounds about this is that when people go to add or remove people from policies, oftentimes this is, think auto insurance, so you have drivers being added, let's say, to a ride-sharing company's policy. They will interact with insurance brokers via email. So what we're showing here on the dashboard is Watson's ability to break out the emails by intent. And again, here we're using Watson Conversation to do that. So you'll see we have add to policy, remove policy, and modify policy as the three intents of the emails. And you'll also see here this graph shows the email intents over time, so you can see a time series view of the types of emails that you're getting in your system. So now what we'll do is we'll explore one intent further. So you can see that I have 17 total emails that have been identified by Watson Conversation as add to policy. Looks like 11 of those emails have been automated by Watson and 6 of them need attention. And the needs attention means that there is missing information in the email that requires a follow-up. And if I click explore, what I see is the top entities for the add to policy intent. These are extracted using the Watson Knowledge Studio model through natural language understanding. And then what you see here is potential automations. This is really for conversation purposes, so you can imagine where you could take this demonstration next. So can we hook Watson up to a CRM system or a transaction system so that once let's say an add to policy is executed by Watson, we can then follow up and send a customer, let's say, an invoice for that or whatever the case may be. So I can click out of that and do the same for the other remove policy and modify policy. So the next thing that I'll do is I will actually go ahead and click on the emails, which will take me to the emails that are in the system. Another way that you can get to that is when clicking on explore, you can also click this emails pending review. I will click it up here. And so what you see here after I refresh, I have a list of all of the emails that are in my system. So you'll see some of them are marked complete and some of them are marked incomplete. So I'll start with one that is incomplete. So when I click on that incomplete email, I'm taken to this view that has the actual email that came in, a summary of the entities extracted, the actions remaining, so the missing information, and a reply that Watson has generated. So let's walk through this in more detail. So as you can see, Watson has extracted out the entities that are in this email and populated them in this summary section. And as you can see here, the missing entities in the summary section correspond to the remaining actions that need to occur, and also correspond to the information that the Watson generated email is requesting from the customer. So as the insurance broker, for example, I have the option to either send this number as is, send this email as is by clicking send, or I can go ahead, let's say I have the cell phone number, and I add that number in, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I click update. What you'll notice is that on the actions, that action has been removed, and consequently the Watson generated email response has been updated to reflect that the cell phone number is there. So as an insurance broker and end user of this system, I have the option to update the emails before they're sent. And once I click send, that email will be sent to the customer and the request for that additional information will have automatically been generated. Now, if we contrast that with a complete email, what you'll see is that all of this information has been provided. Consequently, there are no actions remaining, and Watson has therefore followed up saying that we have automatically completed the request. And so for an agent, no further action would need to be taken because Watson has already identified that all of the requisite information is there. And so you can imagine that for an insurance broker who is dealing with this type of email back and forth, having the ability for Watson to extract out the key information from an email where information is missing is very valuable. And for when information is completely there, not having to spend the time to write the emails and say that this request has been completed will save them a lot of time and therefore allow them to spend their time doing things that cannot be automated by a Watson system. Now to switch to the other scenario quickly, I'll just go to the overview and refresh the page. And then I will select from the IT asset management. Now you can see here for IT asset management, again, some backgrounds on this is that large corporations that give their employees assets, think computers, phone, when that employee is either leaving the company or their device breaks, they have to interact via email to give information to the people handling these requests in order to either return or replace devices. So as with the case with the insurance example, same type of information is provided. You'll see the intent that's pulled out by Watson Conversation. You have the ability to explore to see the top entities that are pulled out using Watson Knowledge Studio through NLU. You can then also click on the emails, same situation. You have the complete emails where all of the information is provided. So Watson has sent the automatic notification that the request has been complete. And then for the incomplete emails, the missing information corresponds with the actions and the proposed Watson reply. Now, one thing that's important to note is that even though we have provided you with two different scenarios here, this type of capability can apply to any situation where email is used in executing a business process, and Watson Knowledge Studio is very user-friendly in the sense that other models can be created to extract out these key entities to apply to other types of scenarios. So that's it. Thanks for watching. This has been the Email Automation Accelerator. We walked through two scenarios today, one related to insurance, so modifying, adding, or removing people from an auto insurance policy, and the second being the IT asset management for corporate-owned devices, so returning or replacing assets. And we showed how Watson, through conversation, is able to identify the intent behind these emails, and then using Watson Knowledge Studio through NLU is able to extract out the key entities from that email, determine if enough information is there to generate the automatic reply and execute that business process, and where information is not there, users either have the option to provide that information or Watson generates a response that indicates information is missing and sends the follow-up to that customer. So this really helps with the average handling time for emails and also helps with employee productivity. With this automation, employees are able to allocate their time more effectively. So let us know what you think, post a review, and we look forward to hearing from you soon.